Alright, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the praise and the glory and the honors to Yahweh, Ba'Ahchyam, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Ahchyam, Rahak Wadash, which has given me the spirit and the strength to do this lesson. And also double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well, Ba'Ahchyam Yahweh, Ba'Ahchyam Yahweh Shai, Ba'Ahchyam Rahak Wadash. Wa Shalom, Wa Barakim to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, which are scattered abroad and in every place, redeemed at the time and ready to be saved. Shalom. Alright, Slakin. Yep. Back with another show, and Lord witness edifying, and pretty much, man. We're in the times where, in the prophecy, when this devil will come down with great wrath. All right, and we got many examples of that, and this here is an example of that, of him coming down upon matter of fact, let's see. Let's start off with that. Alright. Revelation 12th chapter, which is a scripture often or frequently touched in these days, by the apostles, brothers. Alright, it says, Revelation 12:12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." Alright, and this would be talking about the elect, or those of us, the hopeful elect, those of us that's in our right minds. Alright. Because we are on a high level. Okay. So it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens." That's why we're known at the heavens. It says, "And ye that dwell in them." Alright. It says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth." Woe means destruction. Alright, and this would be those outside of this, alright, of this circle of ours. Alright, it says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea." Alright, the sea will represents the nations. Okay? It said, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And how are they coming down on the people? Alright, via the pestilence. Alright, and their devices. Alright, and like I said, this is a good example of that right here. Alright, it says, "High alert. If you got the C-19 shot, you need to see this and who's really behind it." Alright, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Alright, and Lord willing, I don't get a strike.
at the expense of a CEO somewhere in Italy laughing at all of us because we're suckers. That infuriates me, and every person in the United States should demand change.
I have Kim Bright, founder of Bright Core Nutrition, here to talk about how this is affecting Americans' health today. Kim, good to see you. When you watch that, watched that video, I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Bribes, lap dances, the big pharma industry is taking these people to with Eagles games, and I mean, it's unbelievable the level of corruption.
Yeah, good to be back, Clayton. I totally agree with everything she just said. I mean, except I don't agree with everybody's a sucker. I think that people have big hearts, and I think that they have depended on their government officials, and they've trusted people too much, maybe. I don't like the word sucker, though. But I know what she's saying is true, because back in 1974, I had an acquaintance of mine who was a pharmaceutical rep, and he was constantly bragging about all the expensive trips and the expensive dinners and all this stuff that the pharmaceutical companies gave him, and had him take the doctors that use their pharmaceuticals and use them in the ways that the pharmaceutical companies wanted them used, so they got rewarded, and they were bribes, and she's spot on. And I mean, this started, as you've been talking about, with Rockefeller, and it's totally spiraled out of control to the point where we injected and continue to inject the entire planet's population with a vaccine that we know does more harm than good.
Yeah, and
Hey, see, the truth is coming out. All right, about those jump shots. All right, and you know, it's amazing because billions of people have, you know, taken this this juice. All right, so it's too late for a lot of people, man. All right, but you have people that haven't taken it as well. Okay, so you know, to those of you that stood strong, you know, and I'm really speaking to the brothers and a few, you know, sisters, all right, that are believe, have the or like-minded rather. All right, you stood firm, and now look, you know, you standing, keeping your faith, and that goes for all of us. We kept our faith, all right, and knew through the spirit that this juice wasn't, was unhealthy for the body, and it caused, major harm, right? And now, we see that, us standing firm paid off, all right? Because we ain't got to worry about this, all right? But guess who do? It's tell you right here. The Rockefeller Foundation injects USD 55 million to get this juice, all right? 19 shots from airports to arm. So these 55 million, and I believe it's more than that, they got to worry about they got to worry about their life being or skin decaying or them dying, and I knew, and let me say this, I knew people that took this stuff and eventually afterward got CAN, a cancer, all right? And that goes from and that's why the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. All right. They see these people. The 2/3 they put that they trust in the so-called white man. They don't really truly believe that they are the devil that the Bible said that they are. All right, but they're gonna find out. All right, they are finding out. The truth is coming out, man. All right, you got the HWO. Y'all know what that is. Look, they're not good for you. They show you that in that movie, World War Z. Y'all watch that movie? All right, World War Z with featuring Johnny Depp. No, not Johnny Depp. That's not his name. Brad Pitt. You know. Well, in the movie, it's about zombies. All right, but when you get into the movie, Johnny Depp, he realized that the zombies, whenever they were attacking and running around and attacking people, that they would, pass up or wouldn't touch those that had a disease or that were really sick. All right, so he realized that and eventually traveled to the headquarters, the HWO, and he asked them for their most lethalest deadliest juice. I ain't gonna say the name, but those of you that seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it, you should. All right, because at the end of the movie, once he obtained that lethal stuff, all right, he injected himself, all right, and went into the midst of a congregation of zombies and was not touched, was not noticed. All right. So with that being said, at the end of the movie, once they figured that out, that was the will keep people from being bitten. At the end of that movie, they distributed that lethal stuff to the world to be injected with. All right. Now remind you that that was a disease that they were injecting themselves with, that Brad Pitt injected himself with, and that's what they sent out to the world, and they called it a VA, CCI, that's what they called it. So that's showing you what they're doing in real life on these movies, man. We just have to pay attention. It's called predictive programming, because that movie World War Z was made way before 2020. All right, so we just gotta, that's why the scriptures say in the Apocrypha, be not ignorant to any great matter or small. All right, because if not, you'll get trapped. Once again, that's why a lot of people, they took this mess and now they all jacked up or going to be jacked up. All right, like I said, let the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. All right. You see? But like I said, we don't have to worry about this. All right? We can be at ease when it We're going to play a little bit more of this.
And so the Rockefeller Foundation, to your point, because I was going to ask you,
and look what the Rockefeller Foundation. All right? And he's gonna speak a little bit about the John D. Rockefeller. All right.
This has not ended, and it's actually worse now. We're talking like 100 years ago, but here with the COVID vaccine, they put $55 million into getting these COVID shots into people around the world. This is not.
Okay, you know what? Let me back that up. I read that wrong. What did he say? Wait a minute. Because I thought it said 50 million people. 50 million. I might have been wrong. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah. Salakia, that was my bad. I mean, but it's more than that, you know, the people that done got that stuff. Alright? But I guess it was $50 million.
Actually, worse now. I mean, we're talking like 100 years ago, but here with the COVID vaccine, they put $55 million into getting these COVID shots into people around the world. I mean, this is not like something that we're talking about from 1913. This is 2026.
No, they wanted to get this drug, and that 55 million, Clayton, is only a small part of the billions that they, by design, it goes into the medical industry in some form or fashion, or universities or whatever. But they want to get this drug in every single person's body, and based on everything that we know about how pharmaceutical companies operate, you don't think that they gave away this $55 million out of their own pockets for the greater good of humanity? Hell no.
No.
I mean, come on. I don't think Rockefeller was, really the philanthropist that everybody thinks he was. He was goal-oriented to make huge profits, and he could see how he could take his oil and just put it in so many different areas. He didn't care how it affected people. He wanted to just make money. And I want to point out something very...
Yeah, that's the devil. All right? John D. Rockefeller, that's who they're talking about. All right? That's the devil. Salakia. Well, let's listen a little bit more. I don't want to speak too much.
I'm very curious here about the Rockefeller Foundation logo. If you have a look at that, I mean, when I look at that logo, Clayton... there's like pieces coming off of the globe, and it's almost like, look at that. I mean, when I look at that logo, Clayton,
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. For those that have not seen it. All right. Let me see. Rockefeller Foundation logo. Yep. This is it. This is what you're talking about. Get some images. Like you said, it's pieces, and it makes sense. It breaking up the world, destroying the world. Look at that. Look at the earth. Hey, and they tell you that in the scriptures, right? That destruction gonna come to them that destroyed the earth, man. All right, they're destroying the world and the people in it because we're part of the earth. That's heavy, man. The Rockefeller Foundation, this is the elite banking family. All right, our arch enemy, the enemy to everybody, enemies to the earth, even to the earth. Look at this logo, man. All right? And that's why, you see, they don't want you to... Because, look, I'm going to get into the scriptures, too. Because that's why we're supposed to take herbs, get our medicine from the earth. All right? But how could we when they destroying the fucking earth, man? All right? The medicine, the herbs ain't as strong as or potent as they used to be in the old days. All right, they still, work, but they're not as potent as they used to be, man. Oh, yeah, they're not. All right, let's get back to this.
There's like pieces coming off of the globe, and it's almost like, individual people in countries. I see a symbol for depopulation. Yep. And, the FDA on another, thing here, they've acknowledged 10 child deaths from the COVID vaccine. Mm-hmm. Really? Really? I mean, we know that number's not even close, right, Clayton? This is like, you got to be kidding me.
So we have a clip that you brought as well, and I want to show this. So they're only acknowledging 10 child deaths from these vaccines, as you pointed out. And we've talked to whistleblowers and individuals on this show who just, scoffed and laughed at that number. But watch this.
I've presented at the FDA advisory meetings. I've advised companies for decades on this, so I know the regulatory science very well. When a product definitely results in death, and there are thousands of peer-reviewed papers on this, Governor, the COVID vaccines in some people sadly result in death. Some on the very first day they take the shot.
I mean, what do you think of the, 38,607 right now listed on VAERS? What do you think the real number is? And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So in the largest autopsy series published to date, I know because I'm the senior author, of all the deaths we examined, and we re-reviewed them. We had an adjudication committee. We had ways of arbitration deciding on did the vaccine cause death. The answer is, of these cases that came in for autopsy after vaccination, 73.9% of individuals, it was determined that the vaccine was the cause of death.
So, Kim, that's our friend of the show, Dr. Peter McCullough, we've had on many, many times. I mean, they vilified him for that.
Oh, they totally did. And I mean, 73.9%, that is a lot. I mean, like many doctors, he brought so much truth to light during COVID and the COVID vaccinations. And he's been silenced. The American Board of Internal Medicine, I know you know this, but I'll just reiterate it for the people listening and watching, the ABIM, they revoked his board certification. I mean, how evil. And Clayton, it's not just about the vaccines that we all have to worry about. It's all pharmaceutical drugs.
There you go. It's all of them. All right? So that's why we shouldn't be. If you've been woken up, man, and you into this thing, you ain't got no business getting those products, man. All right, aspirins and all. What you call it? Benadryls. All right, and so on and so forth, etc. All right, because they're drugs. All right? They're not medicines. Okay? They're not medicines. You got allergies? They tell you to take this Benadryl. No. You got allergies? Go to the herbs, man. Go get you some garlic. Okay? That's one herb, you can take for allergies or sinuses. Okay? And knock that stuff right out. You got anxiety. You dealing with anxiety. Go get you some lavender. Lavender helps with anxiety. Okay? We shouldn't be going to these, so-called these doctors, man. And when you go into the word doctor, it means to lie or false. Go look it up. Matter of fact, what is that scripture I'm looking for? Okay, here we go. This is what I want. Alright, this is the book of Job, chapter 13. Chapter 13 and 4. It says, but ye are forgers of lies. Okay? But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. There you go. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. That's what it says in NLT. He said, as for you, you smear me with lies. As physicians, you are worthless quacks. Yeah. So it's talking about beginning with Esau. And they're doctors, man. So once again it said, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Because, let me read that again. It said, but ye are all forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Because that drugs is not helping you. It's killing you, man. Alright? Let's move on.
Pharmaceutical companies are looking to their bottom, all pharmaceutical drugs. It's about the vaccines that we all have to worry about. It's all pharmaceutical drugs. These pharmaceutical companies are looking to their bottom line. They're looking to make as huge profit as they possibly can. And, they're doing that far more than they're looking out for your best interests.
Right. So take a look at this. You also provided this. I want to put this graphic up here. So according to this, what are we looking at here, Kim? According to PubMed, our prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer in the United States and Europe.
Oh, that's heavy. It said our kills us in a large numbers. Damn. If you see this and you still take, you stupid. Alright? Look what this says. It says our prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer in the United States and Europe. It said around half of those who die have taken their drugs correctly. The other half die because of errors, such as too high a dose or use of a drug despite contradictions. And they show these so-called medicines they advertise it on commercials. And at the bottom, and they'll tell you how if it has it may cause what's the one I'm looking for? A side effect or something like that. Why is it? See, that's how stupid you Americans is. That's how stupid these Americans is, man. They see that and just it goes right over their head. Why is something gonna be good for me if it's gonna have if it's gonna lead to me having a side effect or me being affected in some type of way? No, if it's a medicine, it's supposed to be good. I'm not supposed to have no side effect. Alright? But these people are dumb, man. All this stuff gets you addicted. Make you take more and more. And it's harming you more and more, man.
Oh, I thought they were supposed to save our lives.
Yeah. Exactly.
Prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer in the United States and Europe. Oh, I thought they were supposed to save our lives.
Exactly. No, hello. No, it's not because, and a lot of you might find this surprising that it's the third leading cause of death in the United States. Yeah. But it's not because of overdoses or acute complications.
I said the third leading cause of death. Come on, man. You gotta wake up, people.
It's not because, and you know, a lot of you might find this surprising that it's the third leading cause of death in the United States,
Yeah.
but it's not because of overdoses or acute complications. It's about the gut microbiome and how these drugs are affecting our microbial diversity in our guts. Every time you take that antibiotic, every time you take that heartburn medicine, those kill off your microbial diversity in the gut. They're killing off the good guys and they're allowing the bad guys to replicate at super speeds. And you know, more information's coming out daily about how these drugs are killing that diversity. They cause what's called dysbiosis. That's the imbalance. And it's being connected finally to chronic diseases in all areas of our body. And again, dysbiosis is when our gut flora is out of balance and it causes just an unbelievable amount of health issues. I mean, we have so many things that we're dealing with our gut being out of whack. You know, we see people dealing now with early onset dementia, Alzheimer's disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. The list goes on and on. And what most people, Clayton, don't realize is that your risk of all these diseases are directly related to your gut microbiome diversity.
We had a friend of the show, Dr. David Perlmutter, on. He wrote a couple of great books. I forget the first one. Belly, gut, what was it called? Wheat Belly, I think was the first. But then he also
That
wrote,
sounds right, yeah.
I forget the name of the book. It's been a few years, but then his second book was all about the gut biome, and he was being vilified for talking about the direct connection from all of his research for what was happening in the gut biome leading to all of these things. I mean, we're talking, as you mentioned, diabetes. I'm just going down the list. Alzheimer's, early onset dementia, blood pressure, everything, and he was being vilified for it. Why do you think, why, I guess the question is, why do you think these doctors who call this out are being vilified for this?
Because it's the truth. If people wake up and realize how easy it would be to take responsibility for their own health and concentrate on what feeds the good guys in our gut microbiome. I mean, I started teaching people the importance of gut microbiome health back 50 years ago, and people were calling me a quack and crazy. And where's the science? And it's just, you know, you look around the world and people that live to be centuries old, over a century old, 100 years old, they're noted to be less susceptible to many infectious diseases. I mean, I studied all these people that were living, the Hunzas and the Japanese and different people all over the world that were living these long lives. And so these properties have been directly attributed to their distinct gut microbial structures. And having been studying all these different people that live to,
like I said, this part of Esau being made bare. All right, and it's heavy because this woman is a lady. Her name is Kim Bright. All right, last name is Bright. All right, and she's shedding that light, man. All right, she's shedding that light. See, you gotta see that spiritual. All right, it said Bright Core Nutrition. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that. You know what? I want to get this in right here. I was looking this up. John D. Rockefeller shut off natural remedies. You see, because this goes back, way back. All right, beginning with John D. Rockefeller and his idea. All right, because I'm gonna say this, and Lord willing, I go into this one day, a little bit more in depth of it. But the system that we see being ran today was founded by John D. Rockefeller. All right, this whole system, everything that we see, how things operate today, it all goes back to John D. Rockefeller. All right, and like I said, Lord willing, the Spirit get on me, I go into that. All right, and it says right here, it says the idea that John D. Rockefeller shut off natural remedies is a narrative often linked to the Flexner Report 1910 and the subsequent professionalization and consolidation of medicine, which favored scientific university-based practices, but Rockefeller himself used how you say that word?
Homeopathy.
Homeopathy, and his foundation later funded scientific research, leading to less support for alternative therapies like homeopathy. While Rockefellers found it didn't really ban natural remedies, there is significant funding for conventional medical schools, which include alright. Okay, medical. It's let me see, it's something else I'm looking for. Okay, let me see. It's something I'm looking for. You know what? Let's see something. Alright. This is alright. John D. Rockefeller is often credited with fundamentally shifting American medicine away from natural remedies. You see that? Toward a pharmaceutical based model in the early 20th century. Right. This transformation was largely achieved through strategic philanthropy and the enforcement of new educational standards. Yep. It says key actions by Rockefeller and his associates include funding the Flexner Report. You see? It says funding the Flexner Report in 1910, Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie commissioned Abraham Flexner to evaluate medical schools in the U.S. and Canada. The resulting Flexner Report labeled natural practices like homeopathy, herbalism, and naturopathy as unscientific quackery. Alright. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much he's one giving credit of for these the natural remedies being, you know, Slovakia kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the natural remedies have been, you know, despised or abhorred. All right, because just beginning with John D. Rockefeller, the Americans been conditioned to, you know, take these drugs, man. All right, let me see. Abhor not the herbs, Okay, we go. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 38 and 4. It said, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. There you go. Not in some lab. Alright? And this is why those drugs are messing people up. Because we're from the earth. So what's going to heal you? Things from the earth. Not chemicals. Alright, it said, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. And he that is wise will not abhor them. That's right. So the prophets will be into the herbs. Some more than others, and some less than others. But they will, a prophet will eventually get into the herb some kind of way. Alright? Like I said, ain't no prophet going to be taking no, like that lady said, antibiotics and all these different drugs, man. Because that's all they are, drugs. And we don't take drugs, man. Alright? We don't take drugs. Alright? It says, verse 5, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? Right? Yeah, going back to what Moses did. Right? Moses was a physician. Right? It said, and he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. It says, with such doth he heal men. Right, and taketh away their pains. There you go. The herbs. Right? That's how we truly are healed, through the herbs. Alright, it says, the drugs and pharmaceuticals, they don't heal you. They harm you. Alright? It said, with such doth he heal men, and taketh away their pains. Of such doth the apothecary, am I saying that right? Apothecary. Alright, and such doth the apothecary make a confection, and of his works there is no end, and from him is peace over all the earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent. Right. But pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Right, see? Leave off from sin, and order thy hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. Let me see. Give a sweet savor and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Okay, see, it says, then give place to the physician. Alright? We got brothers that are physicians, they get into the herbs. Alright? Don't go to these doctors. It said go to a physician. Alright? They're not physicians. Alright? It said, then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. Ooh-wee. That's right. It said, there is a time when in their hands there is good success. Yep. For they shall also pray unto the Lord, that he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. It said, he that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. Alright? He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and begin to lament. as if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself, and cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial. Alright, so yeah, pretty much, that's it. We understand that, where our medicine is, or where it comes from the earth, the herbs. Alright? Get into the herbs. And the natural things, the natural remedies. Stay away from these drugs, man, because that's all that they are. Alright? But yeah, Lord windows edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.